In Matthew's book, Jesus said, go into all the land, take the word, share it, teach it, preach to every man. Just do it. Hello, this is Dr. Gregg Mays with your Word Wednesday. This week, I want to share a piece of my testimony. This Saturday, October the 2nd, will mark 33 years from the day I met my wife, Sunny. The events that led up to me meeting her are such that there's no way that she and I are not together because of God. So it's going to be kind of long. You'll be all right. So here's the backstory. I met Sunny. I was walking down the street in a little village area, a shopping area. And I was out to do some shopping. And I got to a fork in the road. And I came to a complete stop. And I looked left and I looked right. And I said, which way should I go? And eventually I went left. Now, how did I get to that place? That's the key. I was in the Army, and when I was at this school, officer basic course, the field artillery, officer basic course, I was in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I had an opportunity to get this job. And the job was a field artillery aerial observer. That meant that I would go up in a helicopter and do my job from the helicopter. It was going to be fun. And so I had to take a flight test, like a test as if I wanted to be a pilot. I had to take that test, had to pass. I had to do an interview with an aviation officer, and I had to, kind of pass that, so to speak. And then I had to do a physical, where they had to take me in and check my eyesight and my vitals and everything, just a really extensive physical. And so I took the flight exam and I did very well on it. So like check. Then I did the interview with the aviation officer, and that was a little tough, but check. Now, I was a college athlete, grew up in a very athletic home. I was in very great shape, great condition. There was no doubt in my mind that I was going to do very well on the physical. Check, right? Except hold that thought. My iron level was too low. I could not be a part of the program because I couldn't pass the physical. Now that's no big deal, except the Army was expecting me to pass that physical. And so they had taken my original assignment and changed it. And so the new place that I was going to go was probably 40 or 50 miles away from where I met my wife. So I show up in Korea. Now let me give a quick backstory. The first place I was supposed to be, they had not gotten the word that I was no longer coming. And so when I showed up in Korea, this guy, his name was Charlie, I can't remember his last name. He came and he picked me up from the in-processing center. And so he took me to my room and I unpacked all my stuff. So the next day I went back to the in-processing center so that I could in-process completely. Well, at the end of the day, we all were in this room and they said, hey, the people are going to come get you. When they come, then you can go. And somebody else came, called my name and said, hey, you're coming to this other place, Camp Stanley. I was at Camp Casey. So now I go all the way to Camp Stanley. I had to get all my gear from that room and show up there. And no big deal. At this stage of the game, I don't really care. I don't know anything about this place, so it didn't matter to me where I was stationed, right? I'm sitting in the room with the personnel officer. And we're talking, and he's saying, hey, you're here. He's getting me in process. Then he asked me this question. Did you have any problems coming here? And I said, innocently enough, no problems. I just wanted to make sure that I got all my stuff from 1st to the 15th. The personnel officer said, what do you mean? I said, well, I stayed there last night. He said, oh, hold on a minute. He got on the phone, made some phone calls, and I ended up back at 1st of the 15th, which was at Camp Casey. And because I was at that unit, now I was in place to go for a walk and end up at that fork in the road. And to make it even neater, I stood at that fork in the road for some seconds. I don't know how many, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I don't know. But because of the exact amount of time that I stood at that fork, when I got around the corner, when I eventually turned a corner, right at that moment, Sonny was standing on the stoop of a store. And I looked up and I saw her. And it was from that moment that we were able to ultimately meet and get married. And now we've been married for over 32 years. And this Saturday will mark us meeting 33 years ago. And how did God do it? In the most intricate way, ways that I didn't even know that he was sewing this together. What's happening in your life right now? Something that maybe you don't understand. May I encourage you to realize that God can weave all of this uncertainty into something so joyful you won't even understand why you doubt it. You know, here we are, 32 years of marriage, and I could not be happier. I'm not going to speak for her, but I could not be happier. I pray that this is a blessing for you, and remember, stay strong. So what you waiting for? Someone to feel the pain some more? Cause you ain't share the love, the grace you found within the Father's care. To share the love of God is more than just a simple job. It's Christ speaking the off a Holy Spirit law. Share it.